I'm Ron Najafi. I'm CEO of EmerRx Pharma. I'm also a co-founder of EmerRx Biopharma, and I'd love to hear your introduction to our followers. But I also very much like to like our audience to hear about the technology you're working on.
Certainly. Well, let me introduce myself. Thank you, Ron. So my name's Mitch Raponi. I'm the CEO, co-founder of EmerRx Biopharma, which is actually a spin-out of EmerRx Pharma. And Ron, you're my partner in crime here, so to speak. My background, I have a PhD in biochemistry and molecular genetics. I've been in the pharmaceutical device diagnostic space for 25 years plus. You know, I joined EmerRx. We founded EmerRx with a very passionate idea of how can we save more patients who need emergency therapies. So the key for EmerRx is really the development of an intranasal emergency drug delivery platform that provides rapid absorbance that mimics an intravenous-like pharmacokinetics.
Mitch, tell us a little bit about the problem that you're solving in the market.
Absolutely.
Just let's focus on the problem.
Right, absolutely. So we're starting with a naloxone product, intranasal naloxone. And the problem is this opioid overdose crisis. There are over 125,000 people who die annually throughout the globe from opioid overdose. And this is an increasing problem. And there are products on the market right now, and they do an okay job, but they're far from getting the very rapid absorbance that's required in these emergency situations.
Give us a little bit more background on the technology and why is your product unique? Obviously, naloxone has been around for the last 40 plus years. Fentanyl has been around for so many years. It's a product used by anesthesiologists in the hospital. Naloxone is used. So how is your intranasal or nasal spray different?
Let's take a step back and talk about the fentanyl crisis right now. So as you say, naloxone's been around for a long time. It's well understood. It's actually a very safe drug. You and I could take it, nothing would happen, but it's a very effective antidote for opioid overdose. Let me tell you a little bit about how it works. Opioids like heroin or fentanyl bind to opioid receptors in the brain. Naloxone enters the brain and kicks off the drug from the receptor, and the patient is okay again. I mean, literally, if you've got enough drug in there, there's a patients who've overdosed and are not breathing. Minutes matter, right? Naloxone, if delivered appropriately, is very effective at reviving that individual. Now, let's talk about fentanyl. Heroin used to be the main drug for addicts. As many people are aware, we hear about fentanyl all the time. Fentanyl is a synthetic drug, and as you say, it's been around for a long time, over 60 years. It's been used as a pain medication. But because it's synthetic, it's cheap and easy to make. You don't have to wait for a poppy to grow to harvest opium, but it's 50 to 100 times more effective, right? It's more potent. Therefore, if you take the same amount as you would for heroin, you're more likely to overdose. So that's why we're seeing, you know, this expansion in people dying from overdose, because fentanyl has been readily available, they become addicted, and it's extremely potent. Now, what that means in terms of current intranasal naloxone is that you need to dose multiple times to get enough naloxone absorbed into the system for it to knock off that opioid from the receptor that's in the brain. So getting back to your question, so what differentiates us? What differentiates us is that our naloxone enters the bloodstream much more rapidly and higher bioavailability in those early minutes, which is super important for someone who's overdosed and who isn't breathing, right? None of the current products can do that, right? You mentioned that current, Narcan, and there are a whole bunch of generics that are on the market too. They're essentially the same product. They have the same bioavailability, which is about 40%, and it takes about 10 to 20 minutes to get that maximal bioavailability or concentration in the blood. Our product mimics an intravenous-like pharmacokinetics.
So would you say if the naloxone gets into the bloodstream faster, you have a higher chance of reviving?
Exactly. So right now, someone who's OD'd on fentanyl, as I said, you give one shot of intranasal naloxone, you wait 5 minutes. If they're not breathing, you give them another shot. On average, 80% of the time, you have to give more than 2 doses. It's often 3 to 4 plus doses. So it's all about getting the drug on board quickly and effectively. And that's the limitation of the current products. Our invention actually solves for that.
Right. And of course, in some cases, the patient does not survive despite.
Right. So even though current products and naloxone, again, it's a very good drug, it's just how quickly can you get it on board? So about still 1 in 10 patients who are given intranasal naloxone, they will still die, and they or have significant brain damage. So our products are really moving towards reducing that number to 0, right? Every patient, you want to have very quick exposure to naloxone in the brain so they can start breathing again and survive.
Mitch, you mentioned this essentially it's a platform technology. Why is it a platform technology, and what are your plans for this platform? So meaning, you can apply this technology. Obviously, the first one you're going after is naloxone. What's the second product? What's the third product?
This is a platform. And how do we think about the pipeline? You're correct that naloxone is our first product, but the pipeline can be expanded into any emergency medication where you need, a quick antidote, a quick shot of whatever. So I'll explain. Naloxone is one example for an opioid overdose. Think about epinephrine for anaphylaxis. EpiPens are very common. Again, a very quick intranasal device in the community setting, I think will be greatly appreciated as long as it has that rapid absorbance. So that's anaphylaxis. Anxiety, benzodiazepines, they're another example of what you could look at. And then even for acute pain medication, particularly in patients that need that real rapid onset. I would add, Ron, in addition to emergency medicines, as we think about building a pipeline, and emergency medicines are the primary indications that we're looking at. Right. Any drug that needs to rapidly get into the brain to do its job could also be, a type of drug that would be useful with this platform.
For the sake of potential investors who are interested in investing in EmerRx Biopharma, how are you de-risking your technology? What stage of development are you?
Yeah.
Are you seed round? Are you, a Series A? What's the...
Well, first with the de-risking question, then we can talk about financing. So we've already de-risked the program substantially, meaning that we've taken improved formulations of naloxone and tested them in vivo, and we've performed those pharmacokinetic assessments, the bioanalysis of naloxone in the drug, and shown that our formulations are significantly better than current intranasal formulations in the sense that you get a much rapid absorbance, a higher absorbance, and a much quicker peak of drug in the blood. And further de-risking, we're planning a 10 patient, normal individuals, healthy volunteers. Again, this is just looking at pharmacokinetics. We're having a PK study to show that our final optimized formulation truly is robust in terms of that quick absorbance and high concentration of naloxone compared to the approved products today. So that's going to be a huge inflection point for us, right? So getting back to sort of the investor questions, we're in a seed round right now. We're looking to raise about $1 million. That money will help fund the development of the prototype device. It'll help fund more PK studies and more volunteers. It'll fund regulatory interactions as well, and looking into strategic partnerships.
Right. So you have capabilities to measure naloxone in blood, and you have capabilities in bringing volunteers in-house and effectively give them a nasal spray of your naloxone formulation and measure naloxone in their blood and show that you are faster.
Exactly. And I would say we're doing this in a very capital efficient way. And what I mean by that is usually startup companies have to start from scratch, right? This really nice partnership, I would say, with EmerRx Biopharma, right? We've been incubated within EmerRx Biopharma. You have all the capabilities for running our bioanalytical studies, and you have an FDA-approved lab.
So the studies you're planning to conduct is all done under IRB.
Yep.
So it's all done properly, and they're potentially submittable if studies to the agency. Now, speaking to business strategy, what's overall business strategy as it relates to EmerRx Biopharma and your first product, and how are you planning to get the product commercialized? It's a product that could save lives. So how are you speeding development of this product, and how are you going to commercialize it?
Different from some other companies that might be doing, similar things. We're not aiming to be a commercial company, right? It's as a platform. So we're aiming to out-license or sell each of the products as we go through our pipeline. The first being intranasal naloxone. So current, I would say, competitors, if you will, or those companies that have intranasal naloxone on the market would be potential licensors of this particular product. We would aim to rather develop a prototype device, and we would take that to potential customers, which is really business to business here. And with the proceeds from those first, license sale, we would roll back into the company and build out that pipeline, and then do it for product B, C, D, and keep going.
So I'm often reminded by a lot of my colleagues that to have a successful company, you have to have good market, good technology, good team, and good opportunity for investing. So tell us about the team. Who is the team behind you? And then we can get into why somebody should consider investing in EmerRx Biopharma.
I haven't done the exact calculation, but between the leadership of this company, we have decades and decades of pharmaceutical experience, right? We have FDA-approved drugs under our belt. We have interacted with regulatory authorities. We have done exits. We know how to do this, right? So this is a deeply experienced team with all of the pieces that we need to make this product a success.
And in terms of why should somebody consider investing, and why should they do it now as opposed to a year from now?
Yeah, no, I think now is the prime time. So I alluded to the fact that we've already de-risked the program with preclinical data, optimal formulation, and some early in vivo work, right? As of today, our pre-money value is $5 million. And as I said, we're looking to raise $1 million in seed. Once we've generated that PK data, right, that's a huge inflection point. So my answer to you is get in early. We've de-risked the program, and we're about to generate some significant data, and we'll then move towards generating the actual device.
And your website address is again?
It's EmerRx.com.
And you have a way for people to contact you through the website?
Absolutely. You can go to our website and put your information there and we can get back to you. But we really love to work with investors who are passionate, not just about developing drugs, but saving lives. This is of huge social importance. And I know that you're passionate about it. I'm passionate about it, right? I know a lot of people have been directly affected by the opioid crisis. And this is the right thing to do. And it's a significant differentiator to what's currently available. So we will save lives. We will save more lives.
Thank you so much, Mitch, for your explanation, for your enthusiasm, and hopefully if anybody has any questions, they'll be able to connect through the website. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.